I have a question for you. Before we
Okay.
got cut off, I was teeing this up, but I really want to know your thoughts because Madeline and I talked about this last night, and I think she
Yeah.
showed me in like a you're gonna think this is so cool, Ryan, and so like you're gonna be excited about it. Like I want to show you. So she'll do that. She'll have like all these videos she saved up from the day, and like she wants me to laugh at the funny ones and get mad at the ones that have outrage.
Yeah.
They totally had the wrong reaction. Like she was wanting like
Okay.
me to be cheering for it, but I just totally I did the wrong thing with it. So I need to know your thoughts on this. So this is Forrest Frank.
As Christians, it's hard to know where the line in the sand is between being in the world and not of the world. And as a Christian artist, I dress kind of like the world. I kind of look like the world. My music can kind of sound like the world. So where's the line in the sand drawn? And I'm convicted personally that a line that I can draw is that I will not receive a trophy for something that is from Jesus and for Jesus. And I was wrestling with this last year. I even said that on stage at the Dove Awards. I said, I'm still struggling with the concept of receiving this award, but all glory to Jesus. Every name will fade away, including mine, except for one name. But I feel a conviction to go even a step further and say, I don't know if I even want to step on the stage. I don't know if I want to step in the room. And so I have decided to take a stance of non-participation. I will not be attending the Doves or the Grammys. I hope to be an example to the youth that the trophy is our salvation. The trophy is that my name is listed in the book of life and I get to have eternal life. What good is a piece of metal gonna do compared to that?
Okay, so first of all, ignoring like the inspo music in the background that's supposed to get you so hyped. I have some thoughts, but let me get yours. What's like your knee jerk reaction to that?
I mean, I saw it, and Brittany and I did talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little similar to, well, at least Brittany was a little similar to Madeline. Go figure. That, but she always wanted to know. She has this funny thing that she'll do. She'll be like, "What do we believe about this?" Like she's always coming to me about like, "What do we believe?" And I'm like, "Well, I believe." But like, what do we believe about pre-trib or post stuff? Theological stuff. Um, anyway, knee-jerk reaction is tough. I think I'm torn on it. Like, it's okay. First of all, taking a big step back, like just philosophically, it's weird that we're like posting our personal thoughts for the world to see. It's like an online diary, and then like Forrest is doing that, and then you and I are like critiquing his
Right.
choices. It's like the whole thing's weird,
Yeah.
and I don't like that. So get that out of the way. But we're doing that right now. So um, I was torn. I felt like part of me is like that's awesome because I struggle with the same thing when it comes to like from a different you know I mean, I've never received an award for a song. I haven't been in the game for longer than a minute. But um, even so, like, just even like I've worked for churches for a while, and that can be weird. Just even seeing behind the curtain at church, that can kind of mess with, or being on stage leading worship, or
Mm-hmm.
receiving a salary for ministry.
Yeah.
All those things I think can feel weird at times, and you really gotta like. It just depends on your personality and how things hit you, but like you can look at it scripturally in two ways. Like you can, like Paul the apostle is saying, hey, don't muzzle an ox while he treads out the grain. Like a worker's worth of wages. Like I can totally ask this of you in in a clear conscience.
Mm-hmm.
But then also Paul is like, but I don't because I I don't want that to ruin the message of the gospel. I don't want that to taint anything for the gospel.
Yeah.
And so I can see that happening, and then on the workers end of it, it's like, what's your motivation? Is your motivation a paycheck, or are you in this for ministry?
Yeah.
So there's all those questions, and or are you in it for fame or whatever? So I get like to each his own, and I've struggled with that some, where I'm like, I wonder if my faith would be a little bit more vibrant if I didn't work for a church, which is ironic, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in a bubble, and I would be kind of forced to be like, I'm
Right.
surrounding myself with the world, and I, I either have something to share or I don't. I either am different or I'm not. And so,
Like
anyway,
it would keep those lanes totally separate, where it's like I have my career, I put on my career hat and I work hard, and then I've got my faith, which is
yeah,
a totally different thing. When those like streams are crossed, to use like a Ghostbusters analogy, it can get like confusing where it's like, like I'm financially rewarded for being like bold in Christ, and that's just like funky.
yeah, yeah. And I'm more of a support. Like the work I do for churches is like right now, my day job is at a church, and I do video production, and I don't necessarily think people would view me as a minister.
Yeah.
But some people could be like, that's your ministry, is like a creative, artistic thing, and I would agree that can be a ministry, and I think that's what Forrest Frank is doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. I think and I've done it where it's like it's hard to tell whether it was honeymoon experience with Jesus in my early 20s where I was way more on fire and I'm romanticizing like a season of life that is just different. But I worked for FedEx, and I felt like I was just surrounded by such different people all day long, and it's like I felt so like on mission, like I was, and that felt like it mattered. And now fast forward 20 years later, and I'm like, I work for a church, and I work in a town that is like kind of the epicenter of Christianity in America.
Yeah.
It's kind of like to some regard, and that question is confusing. Like, am I? Yeah, am I really like living how I could be? And some of that, it's just for like the alcoholic doesn't want to go to a bar, and like prove that he's recovered.
Right.
Like some of it is just your choice of the place you put yourself in.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that affects, like, that is a choice. I'm going to go put myself in this position, and that will change my outcome.
Right.
So
Right.
I do think sometimes your life can, I know we're completely on a tangent right now, but I think that, I don't even know how I got here, but so when it comes to Forrest Frank, I'm like, that's cool for him. I think it's like, I like him. It's funny, man. I didn't like him. Like,
Really?
I mean, just like musical style. Like, it wasn't my thing, for a minute. Like when I first heard him, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
But like, it just hit me as like, oh, that's not my kind of thing. And then, my wife and my son started listening to him a ton, and I caught on and was watching him. I was like, I really like this guy. Like, he just seems so genuine and so like, really like how I want to be in my faith. Like, I want to love Jesus, and I want to be serious about that, and I want to glorify God. And so when I think about him and like his whole, if I had to guess, I feel like he probably has a calling that he feels, and great. Like if he wants to like point the arrow to Jesus, that's awesome. I think the danger is that it could like offend people, not like in a way like good, offend people for Jesus, but it could be like, hey, you're drawing a line in the sand that doesn't need to be drawn because no one is trying to take the credit here.
Right.
It's just a way that we can like honor what has been done. Because I don't know, like I don't know if you can say that every Christian songwriter or artist is trying to do the same thing. Like I think Forrest Frank feels like he almost falls in like the category of like a worship leader to me. Someone who is like, I don't know what it is about maybe just him or his music, but it feels way more like engaging with God and not just writing a song, like a story.
Yeah.
And so I could see how that, like, would a worship leader who's, made it big, would they feel like comfortable going up there and receiving a trophy for what they view as like, this is my offering to God. Someone's going to reward me for my offering to God.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I could see that. I think it's confusing because that's my take on it, is that he is a little bit of a different animal in that arena. And so if you take someone like maybe like Brandon Heath or someone who is way more of like a singer-songwriter type artist.
Yeah. He has Christian content, some of it worshipful.
And not that that's not a ministry or an offering to God or however you want to view it. It just feels way more of like a a typical like product of the music industry. Like, this is a crafted song that has a story, and it serves that purpose. Like, here's my album, here's my songs, here's and that's great. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so to me, it doesn't seem wrong at all to receive an award for that. And I don't know.
So
I've talked a lot.
I agree with all that. And I actually really appreciate, like, there's actually some really good insight in there. My hot take, which I'm reserving the right to take back, because Madeline shows me this, and she's all excited. She's like, because she loves Forrest Frank, and I like him too, but she's, big fan. Isn't he the best? And I will say, he seems very, very sincere from everything I've seen. But I watched this, and I just I didn't even mean to, but I think I rolled my eyes. We're sitting there in bed, and I'm like, I looked at Madeline, I'm like, only someone in Forrest Frank's position can say this. Like, the dude has already climbed the mountain of success, making all the money, already has all the awards, and suddenly he turns back and he's like, I've decided that I don't need any of this, and we shouldn't be doing this anyway, guys. This is about Jesus. And I'm like, really? I mean, what about everybody else there who's like grinding it out? They need this, because an award, in my mind, like, yes, I get how a trophy can be like about your ego, and that's not great. But a trophy can also be like a calling card on your resume, where it's like, hey, I want to make music, the best music possible. Come work with me. I'm Grammy nominated or Dove nominated or whatever. And like, that's a big deal for some people in their careers. That would be a game changer for us if we got nominated for a Dove Award.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was telling Matt, I was like, my gut reaction is like, I feel a little condescended to, and a little like, this doesn't seem serious. Because if it was really serious, I kind of want you to go all the way. Like, okay, I hear you. It's about Jesus. It's not about any of this stuff. Turn your whole operation into a nonprofit. Have a board, like, set your salary based on like market conditions in the area you live, and do all your concerts for free.
But you don't know if he's doing that or not, do you?
That's true. He could be, I guess. You're right.
Well, so boom, roasted. No, but because I was looking up stuff about him. I don't know if it was before or after this. I think it was before, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And I was trying to figure out, because I had heard Surface's music, but I just had no clue, what I was listening to. And then once I got into Forrest Frank, I was with my son at a restaurant, and I was like, this sounds like Forrest Frank. He's like, it is Forrest Frank. And I looked at him, I was like, no, it's this band called Surfaces. And he's like, no, Daddy, that's Forrest Frank.
I love that your 6-year-old knows what's going on.
Hey, 7
okay, well, that makes it better. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was I was just curious about his journey. And he grew up in Texas, I think. Anyway, so his bandmate, he heard his stuff online and invited him to come collaborate. And this is all Wikipedia, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But Wikipedia said that he was like he's like invited him to come collaborate on his boat or
Mm-hmm.
boathouse or yacht or something like that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's going to Baylor. He has a boathouse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he already came from a family that was successful,
Sure.
and maybe he was doing. I'm not saying that Forrest Frank didn't earn what he got or he didn't work
Yeah,
his
yeah,
butt
yeah.
off. All that stuff was legit.
For sure.
But you might be in a different position, not just because you've climbed the ladder of success, but like based on where you started out at. So it's like, let's just say he was a little bit set up for life.
Yeah.
It might be easier, not saying that it's wrong or right, but it might be easier to view your career as more of an adventure or a
Mm-hmm.
ministry
Yeah.
or an experiment.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring on one hand, but to the people who there's no shame in any of that. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
you know, it's a hard choice if you're not in that position to be like, I'm going to do this strictly for all the, like ideal reasons. Not I don't want to say right reasons, but just
Yeah.
ideal reasons. Like
Yeah.
this is all for Jesus no matter what. And I think you can do that, but I think most people have to also take into consideration
Mm-hmm.
career moves and how to feed their family and how to do all this stuff. And who knows? I mean, I could be totally misinterpreting Wikipedia's entry on him. I just figured like maybe this guy
Yeah. He has the
has the
luxury.
or opportunity to do that. And you're totally right that like people who are in that situation, but who are not in that situation, maybe they would, you know, view an award as like a gift from God, that
Mm-hmm.
as like God saying like, you know, I'm taking you to the next level or whatever.
Right.
So, but I don't know, man. I'm still torn. I mean, because I'm torn in several different ways. Because I mean, just being honest, like I love writing music, and I want to write music for several genres, including the Christian industry.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think in a lot of ways, the Christian music industry is like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you love it and hate it or something. You know, there's something about it that makes you kind of want to. It's the same thing like working for a church. Those questions come up of like, this is my ministry or my salary,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally.
And because of the nature of those two things together, it can leave you with a bad taste in your mouth, I think. So you could be tempted to just be like, yeah, let's like maybe what Forrest Frank is doing is like the start of a revolution where we just
Yeah,
like
yeah, I take that.
we
And
throw
thank you
all
for
that out the
thank you
window.
for poo-pooing my hot take and crapping all over it. But no, I agree. And on a more personal like note, like the cross there is confusing. Like when we're writing, you know, a Christian song, right? All our songs are Christians because we're Christian, but we know what we mean when we say a Christian song. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to write a Christian song. Immediately, like the issue of compromise comes up because it's like, well, there's the stuff that just like comes tumbling out of me that I feel like is, you know, a pure offering to God, and that's beautiful. And then there's the stuff that's like in and popular.
Or there's just the idea that like we were talking to Jordan St. Cyr
Yeah.
a couple months ago about this, where it's like,
Oh yeah, right.
what is the nature of art? And is like, as a painter, would I just go throw paint on a canvas and be like, it's art because I was feeling special that day? No, I would agree and argue that no, that's not art
Yeah.
unless something about the way you throw paint on a canvas is awesome
Right.
and people connect with it. But typically, the route of art is it starts from in here and it goes through this crazy process of editing and chopping away and all that stuff to
true.
get to this.
Even if there wasn't any
Thing.
any financial like hook on that, we as
Yeah.
artists would still go through that process because it's like, I want this to be excellent.
Yeah.
And excellent, like that standard, I guess it exists somewhere somehow. I've listened to what other people have done. I've listened to what masters have done, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to move in that direction, whatever that means.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's communication. Like art is
Yeah.
communication. It's not it's not like mystical. It's not like intimacy between two people. It's communication. It's not like this thing that just exists for me like a warm blanket. Like it, like there was a thought that went into that, and like even Jesus, he's using parables. Like that's a that's a really well thought out, crafted way of communicating with people.
Yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
very effective, and it's like anyway. So I don't know where we're going with that, but I did want to say that going back to the Forrest Frank thing and the Dove Awards, um, this artist that we both know, Dan Bremnes. Do
Yeah.
you remember him?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to work. We did some production on some songs for him like a decade ago when we.
I think he's like killing it actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I follow him on Instagram, which I'm barely on. But anyway, he said that he saw that video, and I don't know if he was coming at it from the opposite angle, but he attended the Doves,
Hmm.
and he's like, I can't say anything about it, but there was one person that was talked about the most and had the most attention, and da 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 da, and it felt like, oh, this is drama, and he kind of flipped the script, and he was like, and that was Jesus. And
Hmm.
the whole room felt different. It felt like very heartfelt, and I was like, I don't know what to do with that. I mean, I think Forrest. It's probably. I mean, probably everyone in that room had seen that reel of Forrest Frank's,
Yeah.
and maybe it
Made a
affected them in
difference.
a way that was really positive. Or the cynical part of me is like, just like any kind of like um, world crisis, and everyone kind of has to scramble to react.
Like
And it's
damage
like,
control. Yeah.
yeah, damage control. Where it's like we're Cracker Barrel is like, oh, we're so grateful for your loyalty. Which
Oh, that's not what's happening. Yeah.
no, yeah, I choose to not be cynical, but I look at that and I'm like, okay, like it's both and like
Yeah, it is.
I don't think the thing's gonna come tumbling down, and to me it's like I don't know, not necessarily meat sacrifice to idols kind of thing where it's like weaker
Uh-huh.
conscience,
Hmm.
and both of those things exist. Like some things are okay for others, and some things aren't for some. I'm not so I. But this is a little different, but it's kind of in the same vein of like to Forrest. I would be like maybe it's more like what Paul is doing, where he's like, I could take up money from you guys for
Yeah.
all the work I've done,
Yeah.
but I'm not
But
doing
I'm
that.
choosing not to. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably in the same kind of heart as that. But yeah, it is.
It's
It's
complicated.
it's controversial.
Yeah.
Probably not for controversy's sake, but it does raise some questions and
Yeah.
ruffle some feathers, I
He's
guess.
he's a really like I feel like he's something in his nature is like he's a pot stirrer because at
Yeah.
least last couple of months it just seems like I almost feel like this is how like Kanye was. Obviously Kanye is like a completely different animal, but like he would
Completely
just
different
like
planet.
completely different planet. But like everything he did turned into like some big discussion point, and I don't know
Yeah.
what that is about people or their perspectives or whatever. Where it's just like for some reason the whole discussion revolves around you and what are you doing about this? What do you think about this? And just like you said, like there's this ridiculous ripple where it's like Forrest says something, Dan Bremnes kind of says a thing. We talk about it, and that's actually where the ripples end because nobody's watching this. But theoretically, it just keeps going and going because of one person and what they think or say about something. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the last thing he did that was kind of like this. Well, there was all like you know, the touring thing. He broke his back, all that stuff, and then the rioting with people online, and then the Corey Asbury thing. But the most recent thing that was before the Dove Award thing was he I think it was like the Charlie Kirk stuff that kind of ignited all this stuff, and he
Oh,
lost a bunch of followers
oh,
because he said something, or he said, I don't
I
know.
missed all
People,
this.
I don't think it was about Charlie Kirk, but I think it was in the midst of all that where people were kind of being more talking about God and Jesus, which I'm like, Forrest Frank is like an obvious Christian artist. Like that's what he's singing about.
Yes.
Um, but somehow it was like he mentioned God and he lost like 30,000 followers. And then the way he responded to that was like, he said, good. Like, I don't want you following me. I want you following Jesus. You know, like, this isn't about me. But the way he said it, something about it, like, Brittany was like, this is so amazing. Like, he's pointing people to Jesus and, you know, and it took me a minute to catch on because the way he said it felt a little like, good, go.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need you.
Yeah, it was a little. It felt like that to me, and it took me a minute to kind of be like, "Oh, I see what he's saying." So I don't know if that's intentional or not intentional, but regardless, he is a little bit like
Yeah.
there's something there of like stuff happens around him. Yeah,
Totally. And despite all of my critiques, my hot take, I actually am like thankful for it because like you said, like it's useful to have the conversation. And it actually makes me really thoughtful about some of those questions you brought up of like why am I doing this and what does compromise really look like when you're pursuing excellence and art and Jesus and how do all these things like twist together, and it's
yeah,
such a thing to navigate. Really challenging actually.
yeah. And it's as a person who's pursuing songwriting as a career or as a at least as a huge goal in his life. Um, yeah, it can be confusing because I feel like Forrest is a guy who's like, this is my calling and it's my profession, and it's like
Mhm.
there is no separation. It's just
Uh-huh.
like this, and I wish I could be more like that sometimes, where I'm like, just you know, I feel like I'm in that place of life where, and it's either a God thing or a money thing, but it's like where Paul is like, I wish some of you weren't married because you could be like wholly devoted to the
Mm.
Lord instead of your interest divided, you
Mhm.
know? And I'm like, yeah, I do miss that part of my life where I felt like I could be laser focused on Jesus. Not that I can't be like that, but that takes way more sacrifice for a father and a husband, and there's grace for that, but I think there's that desire in me that misses that and wants that more. And I look at someone like Forrest, and I'm like, that's awesome. He's doing that, and maybe that's a good thing that it's just like, you know, it's pricking that thing on all of us. It's like, ugh, am I doing that? You know,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
he could
You have
have
a
a.
lot of issues to work out.
I know. It's just I don't even know where to start. And
Yeah. I had
thank
some
you for
ideas.
thank you for meeting with me. I'll Venmo you after this.
That'd be great. Yeah, thanks. uh well, there's more I want to get into. We should time out cuz I got to go make dinner for the kids.
Not really my problem.
You know what? You're right. They're fine. They'll make it.
Yeah.
But I like it. Let's pick up on the next one, okay?
Okay. See ya.
See you. Bye.